midnight.
I'm Rod Serling. You're listening to the Zero Hour.
Suspense.
I'm the Whistler.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Who is it?
The Fat Man.
Presents The Man Called X.
The Mysterious Traveler.
Another journey into the realm of the strange and terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves. Where are we going? You'll find out when we get there.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Drama and Theater, brought to you by Duane Old Time Radio. Drama and Theater features some of the best programs from the golden age of radio, including Escape, The Fat Man, Suspense, The Whistler, Zero Hour, Yours Truly Johnny Dollar, and many, many more. Before we start today's drama, if you enjoy what I'm doing, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is 100% free, and you will receive notifications on new posts. Lastly, if you have a moment, write a short 1 or 2 sentence review or give a rating on your preferred podcast service. A positive review or rating would help me out a lot. And now, on to the drama. And thank you for your support, as always. Hope you enjoy. This week we return with Let George Do It. This is the audition episode from Let George Do It. I'm going to air auditions number 1 and audition number 2. I don't have a day for this episode, but it aired, or it was recorded rather, April 1946.
George Lincoln has been out of uniform only a few weeks. Blessed with an abundance of energy, an adventuresome spirit, and not too much money, he has sunk his last dime in office rent, a few pieces of furniture, and an ad in the classified section of the daily paper. Now, as he sits back in his swivel chair, waiting for the clients to form a line outside his office, the door bursts open.
Mr. Lincoln?
Yes?
Mr. George Lincoln?
That's right.
I saw your ad in the paper. Do you have a crime that needs solving? Let George do it. Do you have a dog that needs walking? Let George do it. Do you have a wife that needs spanking?
Let George do it. What are you, a client?
Oh, no, Mr. Lincoln. I'm Sonny Brooks.
What do you want, an interview for your grammar school paper?
Oh, I graduated from grammar school.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's all right. I'll get it.
Hey, wait a minute.
Good morning. Let George do it.
How do you like that?
Well, I can make an appointment for you. Yeah, I'm Mr. Lincoln's confidential assistant.
That's nice to know.
Well, if you're that close, then come right up, Mr. Winters. Yeah, goodbye, sir.
Now, look here, Bottom Button.
You can call me Sonny.
Well, now, look here, Sonny. Who hired you?
Well, I come with the office. You see, Caleb the elevator man is my friend. He knew I was looking for a job, so he said, Sonny, whoever gets that office gets you, too.
Well, isn't that just ducky?
Oh, you'll find me very reliable, Mr. Lincoln. I have intelligence, initiative, a pleasing personality, and I'm Cuff.
Cuff? What's that mean?
C-U-F. Cool under fire.
Oh, that's great. Well, tap 2.
What's that, sir?
Take a powder, punk. Time's up.
Yeah, but Mr. Lincoln...
You're too young, Sonny. Things may get a little rough around here.
Oh, that's okay, sir. I'm a very rugged character. Now then, Mr. Winters will be here soon.
Winters?
Yes, sir. Jonathan Winters. He just phoned.
Oh.
We can discuss my salary later. I'll go on the payroll as of today.
Whether I like it or not.
Well, I have a feeling you're going to become very fond of me, sir. I grow on people.
Yeah, like a bunion. All right, Sonny, call an employment agency and get me a secretary.
Well, that won't be necessary, sir.
Why? Don't tell me you type, too.
No, but my sister does.
Your sister?
Claire. She'll be here soon to start to work.
Say, does your whole family go with this office?
Well, I don't have much of a family. There's just Claire and me.
Oh, well, that's tough, kid.
Well, you like Claire. She's prettier than I am.
Oh, that's perfect. It doesn't matter if she can type or take dictation, just so she's prettier than you are. Say, this is my lucky day.
Mr. Lincoln?
Oh, yes, Mr. Winters. Come right on in.
Mr. Lincoln, I'm here because...
Oh, well, it doesn't matter what the job is, Mr. Winters. I'm your man. Just throw your problem in my lap, and I'll come up with the right answer.
Mr. Lincoln, I'm about to be murdered.
Hell, now, don't take it too seriously. A lot of us... Murdered?
Murdered?
You're joking, I hope.
I'm not joking.
Well, that's a little out of my line, Mr. Winters. I mean, you see,
Mr. Lincoln, I have been murdered.
Holy Joe!
Oh, well, don't stand there. Do something. Call somebody. The police, the fire department. I'll get a doctor. And Sonny.
Yeah, Mr. Lincoln?
Don't get excited. Look at me. I'm perfectly calm.
You going up, miss?
Is Mr. Lincoln's office in this building?
5th floor. Step in.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're Claire, aren't you?
Well, how did you know?
Family resemblance. You look like Sonny. Nice boy, Sonny, but give him a hamburger and a Coke and he's satisfied. You're not like that, are you?
Well,
I thought not. Someday I'll cook my specialty for you. Devastating duckling divine a la Caleb. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'm sure it must be.
Oh, it is. Ever taste chicken broth with nutmeg?
Never.
You haven't lived. Oh, it's 5th floor. Now, you take Mr. Lincoln. He appreciates good food, all right, but he will put sugar on his tomatoes. I hold to the salt school myself. How about you, miss?
Why,
I knew we had a lot in common. First door to your left. Oh, there's Mr. Lincoln now.
Caleb, get a doctor up here right away.
Eye, ear, nose, or stomach?
I don't care. Get a doctor.
Oh, and I'll get Dr. Mack. He's very fond of my cheese souffle.
Mr. Lincoln?
Well?
Is anything wrong?
Oh, no, nothing trifling. Now, run along, sweetheart. If you're a client, come back tomorrow, will you?
I'm Claire Brooks, Sonny's sister.
Yeah, we'll come back tomorrow.
Mr. Lincoln.
Well?
I spent 10 cents on bus fare to come here to interview you for a job. I'm going to have that interview whether or not you like it.
Well, look, here's a dime. Now be a good girl and beat it.
I certainly will. I wouldn't work for you if you offered me $1,000 a week to sit behind a desk and do nothing but powder my nose.
You could stand a little powder at that.
Oh, you...
Now, wait a minute. You had any experience as a secretary?
Of course.
Can you mend socks?
Mend socks?
Iron shirts, sew buttons, cook breakfast over a can of Sterno?
Mr. Lincoln, are you looking for a secretary or a wife?
Oh, a secretary. I'm still a bachelor. Knock on wood. Had one close call, though, but I got away from her. Lucky guy.
Lucky girl.
Okay, you're hired.
Thank you.
Now give me back my dime.
What about salary?
Oh, we'll discuss that after I collect from my first client.
How do I know you'll ever get a first client?
Client? Oh, I've got one now. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but I've got him.
Hmm?
Come on in and see for yourself. That gentleman stretched down on the floor is my first... Sonny! Sonny!
Yeah, Mr. Lincoln?
Well, where is he? Where's the body? Where's Mr. Winters?
Holy Joe, Mr. Lincoln. He's gone.
Makes sense. Will you, Mr. Winters couldn't have just disappeared into thin air?
It's like I told you, Mr. Lincoln. I went into the waiting room to phone the police, and the next thing I knew, you were out here yelling for me.
Look, this window was open.
What's the matter? Allergic to fresh air?
Well, don't you see? It leads to the fire escape.
Uh-huh. And this door leads to a closet, and that door leads to a... Well, never mind.
Will you be serious? Mr. Winters was shot.
Brilliant.
Maybe his murderer followed him here to your office. Maybe he hid out on the fire escape listening. Then when you left the office, he dragged the body out.
I'll bet Sis is right.
Look, don't bother your pretty little head with puzzles, Claire. Just sit down there and make like a secretary. I'll see you later.
But where are you going?
To Mr. Winters' home. I've got to find some clues. And when the police come, stall them.
The police?
Yeah, they'll be here any minute. Sonny phoned them.
But, Mr. Lincoln, what'll I tell them?
Tell them nothing. You've got charm, haven't you? Well, use it.
Mr. Lincoln, I've got to know. What do you think happened to my husband?
Now, take it easy, Mrs. Winters.
Oh, I was afraid something would happen to him.
Why?
Well, he was so worried. I thought it was because his writing wasn't going too well. He hadn't been able to write anything in a long time.
Oh, your husband is a writer?
Yes, a mystery writer.
Oh, sure, of course. The case of the body in the bathtub, murder has the hiccups.
This is my husband's study.
Quite a layout. What are all those papers?
His manuscript. He was working on The Lost Corpse.
The Lost Corpse. Cute title.
It wasn't coming easy. He knew it had to be good or it'd mean the end of... Mr. Lincoln, what are you looking for in that wastepaper basket?
Now, what do you think? 4-leaf clovers, of course.
I want the truth. Was he murdered?
Relax, Mrs. Winters, relax. The best man in town is on the job.
Who?
Who? Why, me, of course. Is this the lost corpse?
Put that manuscript down. Don't look at it.
Why not?
Oh, I'm sorry. Just a superstition. Jonathan never wanted anyone to read what he was working on.
Oh, then of course you haven't read this.
No, certainly not.
Did your husband have any domestic trouble?
Domestic trouble? Jonathan was devoted to me.
Was? Why the past tense?
What? Oh, I don't know what I'm saying.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes? Yes, what is it?
There's a policeman downstairs. He wants to talk to you.
A policeman?
I'll be right down.
Oh, look, Mrs. Winters, you haven't seen me, understand?
But why?
Well, now, look, your husband trusted me. Why don't you try it?
Well, all right, Mr. Lincoln.
Any way I can get out of here without going down the stairs?
Well, that door leads to my husband's private elevator. It takes you down to the back entrance.
Say, he thought of everything.
Well, he liked to come and go without disturbing the rest of the household.
Very clever man. Okay, Mrs. Winters, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow.
Tomorrow? You mean you'll have news for me?
Well, maybe it'll be news to you. And then again, Mrs. Winters, maybe it won't.
Mr. Lincoln, what's the idea of dragging me out here in the middle of the night?
Keep your pretty little mouth shut, will you, Claire?
What is this place, anyway?
The back entrance to the Winters home.
Well, haven't they got a front entrance?
Sure, but we're not using it. We're here to steal something.
Steal? I'm supposed to be a secretary, not a second-story man.
Keep quiet.
Mr. Lincoln, I quit.
Some other time. Now step into that elevator.
An elevator? Where will this thing take us?
Up to Mr. Winters' workroom.
It's pitch black in here. I don't feel safe.
I'm here.
That's what I mean. Oh!
What's that?
You don't have to hold my hand.
I'm not holding your hand.
Well, someone is.
Well, don't scream. I got him covered.
Hey, get that gun out of my ribs.
Sonny!
Sonny, I told you to go home.
I have a feeling you're going to be very glad I'm along, Mr. Lincoln. You might need me.
Yeah, like I need a second head.
You could use it.
Now, you two stay right here. I know where the desk is.
What do you want in there?
Well, I've got to get the lost corpse.
Lost corpse?
You mean you think Mr. Winters' body's in there?
No. The manuscript of his book. Now, keep quiet. Don't make a sound. Oh!
Mr. Lincoln, what was that?
Oh, just an old shin of mine.
Hey, I hear somebody coming up the stairs.
Okay, kids, we can beat it now. I found the lost corpse.
Is it a good story, Mr. Lincoln?
Mm-hmm.
Well, aren't you going to let us read it?
Mrs. Winters wouldn't approve.
Oh? What's she like? Is she attractive?
Hubba.
Oh.
She has the most beautiful, the biggest blue eyes.
Never mind, Mrs. Winters. What about the lost corpse?
Well, it's a very unusual story. About a man and his wife.
How original.
The wife would like to give him the gate, but she hasn't any money of her own. However, she stands to collect a lot if her husband ever kicks the bucket.
Is there a murder?
Natch. The husband is shot, but he manages to make his way to a private investigator's office.
Huh? Is that in the story?
Sure.
Yeah, but that's what Mr. Winters did.
The husband tells the investigator he's about to be murdered.
Hey, that's what Mr. Winters told you.
Then he collapses. When the investigator steps out of his office, the wounded man disappears.
Just like Mr. Winters did.
That's what actually happened.
It is? Well, what do you know about that?
Well, go on, Mr. Lincoln. Then what?
Well, later the guy returns to his wife. He says, "You thought you killed me, but I'm not dead yet. You...
Yes, go on.
Well, that's all. That's as far as Mr. Winters got with his story.
No wonder Mrs. Winters didn't want you to read it. It's a story of their life.
It shows she's guilty. She killed her husband.
Mr. Lincoln. Hey, Mr. Lincoln.
Yeah, Caleb, what do you want?
Where's Mrs. Winters? Is she all right now?
Mrs. Winters, what are you talking about?
I left her in your waiting room. She came to see you.
When was this?
A few minutes ago. She acted kind of funny, like maybe she was sick. But I was cooking a mackerel on my hot plate downstairs, and you know you got to keep your eye on a mackerel.
Never mind the mackerel. Where is she now?
I just come up to see if she's all right. Do you want me to stuff the mackerel with cornbread?
Caleb, are you sure you left Mrs. Winters here in my writing room?
You know, some people like rice stuffing, but I prefer corn myself.
Mr. Lincoln, look, on the table.
A woman's purse.
With initials on it. M.W.
Marcia Winters.
Do you think the same thing happened to her, Mr. Lincoln? Someone followed her here and hid on the fire escape?
No, she heard us talking. She knew we thought she was guilty.
Oh, of course.
Say, how are you two at playing games?
Games at a time like this?
Look, Sonny, you be Sonny. I'll be George Lincoln. And Claire, you be Mr. Winters.
Oh, what about me? What'll I do, Mr. Lincoln?
You go stuff your mackerel.
All right, Mr. Lincoln, I'll just go do that.
Now, Claire, step outside the office, give us a few minutes, then come in and say you expect to be murdered.
Oh, I get it. You want to reenact the crime.
Smart boy. Okay, Claire, get going.
First I'm a second story man, and now I'm an actress. I quit.
Oh, go on, Claire. Be a good sport. Humor me.
I said I quit.
We haven't got time now. You can quit tomorrow.
Oh, very well. But you can think of the silliest thing.
Now what'll we do, Mr. Lincoln?
Just exactly what we did when Mr. Winters first stepped into this office. Okay, Claire, come on in.
I don't think she heard you.
No. All right, Claire, we're ready. What's the matter with her?
I'll get her. Claire, you can come in now.
Claire! Where is she?
Holy Joe. This is quite a problem. Now my sister's disappeared.
Well, Lincoln doesn't seem to have gotten very far in his solution of this case. First, a murdered man disappeared from right under his nose. Then the murdered man's wife mysteriously departed. And now his secretary has vanished into thin air.
Are you just going to sit here in your office, Mr. Lincoln? Aren't you going to do anything? She's my sister. She's the only sister I've got.
Now, take it easy, Sonny. Nothing happened to Claire.
Well, then where is she?
Well, she couldn't take it, that's all, so she quit. Left us flat.
Well, that doesn't sound like Claire.
Hey, Mr. Lincoln, the mackerel looks good enough to eat. Brown and crisp. Oh, by the way, police car just stopped in front.
Huh?
Holy Joe, the police.
How does buttered radishes with the mackerel strike you?
Yeah, look, Caleb, get down there and stall the police.
Oh, I intend to. And we can top it off with cherry flambeau.
Come on, Sonny, we'll leave by the fire escape. Oh, and Sonny.
Yeah, Mr. Lincoln?
Bring Mrs. Winters' purse along with you. Yeah, that's the trouble with women. As soon as the going gets a little tough, they walk out on you.
Excuse me, Mr. Lincoln, but aren't you in kind of a jam with the police?
You're right, Sonny, she is.
She is, sir?
Much prettier than you are.
Mr. Lincoln, we can't just drive around all night. We gotta find out who murdered Mr. Winters and what they did with his body and where Mrs. Winters disappeared to and what happened to Claire. Isn't that right, sir?
And she's very intelligent. That is, for a woman.
Mr. Lincoln.
Okay, Sonny. Look at the address on that letter.
What letter, sir?
The one in Mrs. Winters' purse.
Is there a letter in here?
Well, didn't you notice it when Claire opened the purse?
No, sir. Oh, here it is. It's addressed to Mrs. Marcia Winters, 300 Pepper Tree Lane, Cedarhurst.
Uh-huh.
Hey, that's in the country.
Yeah, they must have a country home, too.
Cedarhurst. Yeah, that's out on Highway 6, right near... Hey, we're on Highway 6. We're headed toward Cedarhurst now.
Oh, brilliant deduction, Sonny. I'll increase your ration of bubble gum.
I filled her up, sir. Oil, water?
No, thanks.
Wash your windshield?
Oh, don't bother. I washed it once and I couldn't do a thing with it.
Huh? Don't get many customers around here at night. Pretty deserted road.
Uh-huh. I'll bet we're the first car you've seen this evening.
That's right. Oh, except that there cab.
Cab? With a woman in it?
Now, how'd you guess?
Hey, I'll bet it was Mrs. Winters.
Hang on, Sonny. We're getting warm.
Is this it, Mr. Lincoln?
Careful, don't make any noise.
There's a light inside the cabin.
Yeah, and a woman. See her moving around?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can make out her shadow now.
Yeah, very shapely shadow.
We gonna just walk right in?
Oh, no, of course not. That's no fun. What would they do in a mystery show?
They'd climb in the window.
Then we'll climb in a window.
Mr. Lincoln, she turned off the light. Shall I go in first?
Stand back, son. This is a man's job. I'll grab her.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no, you don't. You'll stay right here.
Let me go.
Turn the light on, Sonny.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what we bagged.
Claire!
Well, if it isn't second story Clarissa.
Did you have to be so rough? I'll bet you cracked 2 ribs.
Sorry, I don't know my own strength.
Well, now that you see who I am, you don't have to keep on holding me.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Claire, what are you doing here?
Well, she saw the address on the letter, so she decided to follow the clue.
Yeah, but why didn't she let us in on it?
She thought I was a dope, Sonny, so she took over.
You know all the answers, don't you?
Not quite. What happened when you got here?
Nothing. Place looked deserted. I crawled in the window, too.
No one here?
I couldn't see anyone, but, well, I've had the strangest feeling.
Yeah?
As though someone's been watching me.
Well, stay here with Sonny. I'll look around.
Holy Joseph, you sure had me scared.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sonny, but Mr. Lincoln didn't seem to be making any effort to solve the case.
Oh, don't kid yourself. He just keeps things to himself.
Well, everything seems to be in order.
Hey, that was a car.
Look, Sonny, Claire, stand back there in the corner. I'll cover the door.
Be careful, Mr. Lincoln.
Do I detect concern in your voice? Well, good evening, Mrs. Winters.
Oh.
May I present my two assistants, Claire and Sonny Brooks?
How did you know I'd come here? What do you want?
Oh, just want to make talk.
Mr. Lincoln, you've got to believe me. I'm not like the woman in his story. I love Jonathan.
Uh-huh, and you're the girl who never reads his manuscripts until they're finished.
Well, Oh, go ahead. Turn me over to the police. I don't care what happens anymore.
Well, that's as good as a confession, Mr. Lincoln.
I'm in no mood for confessions. Blow your nose, Mrs. Winters. We're going to play a little game.
Oh, not again.
Now, Sonny, you keep an eye on Mrs. Winters. Don't let her leave.
Oh, don't worry. I won't try to run away.
Look, Claire, you're the wife of the lost corpse.
More acting? I quit.
Tomorrow. Now then, I'll be the husband in Mr. Winters' story. Here are some lines for you to read, Claire.
You came all prepared, didn't you?
We'll skip to the part where I walk in wounded and say, you thought you killed me, but I'm not dead yet. You think you can follow those lines?
I can read, if that's what you mean.
All right, all set? Let's go. You thought you killed me, but I'm not dead yet.
No, I didn't shoot you. I swear I didn't.
But who'll believe you? The police? All the clues point to you.
Do you mean?
Yes, my dear. You wanted me out of the way. Well, you got your wish. I shot myself.
No,
I killed myself. But they'll think you're guilty. You'll pay for it.
I'll get a doctor.
Too late, too late. Goodbye, my dear. Goodbye for just a little while. Then I die.
What a performance.
I don't get it, Mr. Lincoln.
You wrote this ending for his story, is that it?
Well, of course. What's a story without an ending?
I'll tell you what Mr. Lincoln is getting at. He's trying to prove that my husband shot himself. Shot himself in such a way that it would look as though I murdered him. Why would Jonathan do such a thing? He knew that I loved him.
You don't have to put on an act for us, Mrs. Winters.
Why don't you turn her over to the police?
Now, keep your shirt on, Sonny. Okay, you come in now.
You mean the police are here?
The police?
Well, how did you like my way of ending your story, Mr. Winters?
Mr. Winters!
Jonathan!
He's here?
It was very clever, Mr. Lincoln.
Oh, Jonathan.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry you were worried, darling. I tried to go home and explain, but the police were there.
No, but I don't understand.
Well, you see, the ending to the lost corpse was driving me crazy.
You see, I knew that when I searched his wastepaper basket. It was full of rejected endings.
Finally, I decided to do just what the hero in my book did.
Then, when he saw the police were questioning you, Mrs. Winters, he came out here to hide. I saw him in the closet, but I wanted to put on a show for him.
Oh, Jonathan.
Oh, forgive me, darling.
Well, come on, kids. They don't need an audience.
Wait a minute, Mr. Lincoln. I've got the ending to my story, thanks to you. And with all that publicity in the papers, it's sure to have a big sale. So, name your fee.
Oh, well, I don't know, Mr. Winters. I haven't really thought about it. Suppose we say an even grand.
I'll send you a check in the morning.
Oh, no hurry. But I just happen to have a pen and a blank check with me. As a matter of fact, it's all made out. Just needs your signature, Mr. Winters.
Huh? Oh, yes. Right, certainly.
Holy Joe, $1,000.
There you are.
Thanks. Well, let's go, kids. Good night, Mr. Winters, and if you ever get stuck again...
I'll remember. Good night.
Good night.
What a day. Now I feel like collapsing. Sonny, come here and put your arm around me.
Whoa, sure, sis.
Go away, Sonny. Let George do it.
Next week at this time, George Lincoln has a difficult problem thrust upon him. You'll probably hear him saying something like this.
All that money just to find you a wife, Mr. Peterson? Why, it's a cinch.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Lincoln. I've got to have me a wife who'll love my little Annabelle.
Annabelle?
Yeah, and all her little brothers and sisters.
All her brothers and sisters? How many have you got?
400.
400 children?
No, 400 pigs.
When George Lincoln shed his Army uniform and sunk his last dime in his new business venture, he had no idea what he was letting himself in for. His offer to let George do it, if you have a problem to solve, has led him into many mysteries and adventures. Right now, as we pick up the story, George's secretary, Claire, and his self-appointed personal assistant, Sonny, are entering the office building and greeting Caleb, the elevator operator.
Good morning, Caleb.
Morning, Sonny. Morning, Claire. You're late, ain't you?
We certainly are. Get us up in a hurry, will you, Caleb?
Oh, did you try making my sardine omelet this morning, Claire? That what detained you?
We had to sign a new lease on our apartment.
For 2 years. Boy, oh boy, are we lucky.
Wish I could find a new house.
Why, Caleb, I thought you loved your place in the country.
Stove's only got 2 burners. Now you take my receipt for macaroon trifle with hot butterscotch sauce. I put the macaroons to cook on 1 burner, the custard on the other, and there I am with hot butterscotch on my hands.
You don't need a new house. You need a new stove.
This floor.
Gee, I wonder what Mr. Lincoln will say.
He's not down yet.
Oh, thank goodness. Come on, Sonny.
Well, if you get hungry, I've got some sour milk pancakes downstairs with raisins.
Thanks, Caleb.
Hey, the door isn't locked.
Why, I'm sure I locked it last night.
And why is it so dark in here?
Oh, the shades are drawn. Get 'em up, will you, Sonny?
Maybe Mr. Lincoln came back and worked last night.
On what? We haven't had a client in a week. Nobody wants him to solve a murder or find the missing pearls or... Sonny!
What's the matter?
Look, on the couch.
Mr. Lincoln.
Sound asleep.
Sound asleep, my eye. I haven't slept a wink all night. And the first person who says good morning gets fired. Help me unfold, will you, Sonny?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's no laughing matter. It's a simple problem in mathematics. The couch is 5 feet 6 inches. I'm 6 feet 1 inch. That leaves 7 inches hanging over. After the 7 inches got numb, I tried tucking them under.
But, Mr. Lincoln, after all, you have an apartment.
Put that in the past tense.
What do you mean?
I shared an apartment with Dave Thorne. Well, last night something horrible happened to him.
What happened?
He got married.
Oh.
She moved in, I moved out. You see before you, Claire, a man without a bed.
What a shame.
Hey, Sonny, go ask Caleb if he has any donuts hanging around.
Well, the donuts are sour milk pancakes with raisins, but I'll get them.
Start the coffee perking, will you, Claire?
I suppose this is hardly the time to mention that we're late because I had to sign a 2-year lease on my apartment.
2 years? May I touch you? 2 years. Is it furnished?
Mm-hmm.
How many rooms?
5.
5 rooms? Claire, will you marry me?
Mr. Lincoln?
Hey, where are those sour milk pancakes with raisins?
I met this gentleman outside. This is Mr. Duncan. He's a client.
Oh, well, come in, Mr. Duncan. Come right on in. Sonny, you beat it.
Yes, sir.
Well, sit right here, Mr. Duncan.
Might as well call me Uncle Milt. Everybody else does. Besides, I'm going to call you George.
Oh, that's fine. Uncle Milt, my secretary, Claire Brooks.
How do you do?
Terrible. Just terrible. George, I'll pay you any price you can name your fee if you just do one thing for me.
Consider it done.
Good. Brief and to the point. Man after my own heart. I want you to find an apartment for my niece.
Certainly. I'll take care of it right. An apartment?
Or a house or a couple of rooms or anything. Just get 'em out of my place.
But, Uncle Milt...
Now, look, George, I'm an old man, and all I want is to spend the rest of my days in peace and quiet. I have a nice house, a lovely house, but it has a guest room, and that's where I made my first mistake.
What do you mean?
Well, my niece Helen had the chance to sell her house at a profit. They couldn't find any place to move, so she and her husband Roy and her baby Annabella moved in with me.
How awful.
Now, understand, young lady, I love babies, but not when they cry all night, not when they wake up at 6 a.m. sharp, and not when they sleep right off my room on the sleeping porch.
Oh, you have a sleeping porch?
Helen and Roy use the guest room.
Uncle Milt, does this sleeping porch have a bed? I mean, besides the babies?
Yeah, and it's the only bed in the house that isn't being used.
Good, I'll move right in.
What? You haven't got a place to live yourself? Now, how do you expect to help me?
Oh, well, now, don't get excited. I just want to be there to look things over. You know, it on the ground floor.
On a soft bed.
Well, I don't care where you sleep or what you do. Only for heaven's sake, find my niece and her family a place to live. And here's my card and my address. I expect results.
You'll get 'em. See you later, Uncle Milt.
Fine.
Well, that ought to bring us a good fee.
Mr. Lincoln, you of all people ought to know the housing situation. Do you expect to work a miracle? Aren't you worried?
What have I got to worry about? Tonight I have a bed to sleep in.
Come in, George. Come in.
Oh, thanks, Uncle Milt.
Have you got good news for me? Did you find him a place to live?
Not yet. I just came to leave my suitcase.
Roy Finney, stop reading that paper and get up off that couch and help me move it.
What's that?
Read all day long.
My niece, Helen.
Oh.
Hurry up, grab up one end of the couch.
She's changing the furniture around.
Oh.
Helen.
Uncle Milt, grab one end of the couch and help me move it. Who's that?
Helen, this young man
Never mind,
is
it
George...
doesn't matter. Young man, you grab up the other end of the couch. I want to move it where the piano is. We'll put the piano where the radio is, and we'll put the radio... Well, why don't you move the couch?
Wouldn't it be easier to move if he'd get up off it?
Roy, will you get up? He never hears me when he reads. We'll have to move him with it. Come on now. Oh, now you woke Annabelle. Uncle Milt, look after her, will you?
All right, Helen, all right.
Couch is much too heavy for this side of the room.
I'll go with you, Uncle Milt.
Then we'll put the radio on the other side of the fireplace. If I could only move the fireplace.
Talk all the time, just like her mother, my sister Sadie. Helen doesn't talk quite as much as her mother, but almost.
You have my deepest sympathy.
George, I'm an old man. All I want is to spend the rest of my days in peace and quiet.
Say, Uncle Milt, where does this door lead?
It's the housekeeper's room.
Housekeeper?
Mrs. Trumpet. Only bedroom on the ground floor.
Uncle Milt, then that's it.
What are you talking about?
Well, look, this is far away from the sleeping porch, isn't it?
Of course.
You can't hear the baby down here. Don't you see? All you have to do is fire Mrs. Trumpet.
Huh?
Then you can take her room. Let Helen do the cleaning and cooking. She'll get so sick of it, they'll all move out.
Wonderful. Magnificent. There's only one catch.
What's that?
Mrs. Trumpet. She's a very determined woman. She may not like being fired.
Oh, nonsense.
All right, then. You do it.
What?
After all, you're in charge.
Okay. Just leave Mrs. Trumpet to me.
I certainly wish you luck. I guess I'd better see about that.
Mrs. Trumpet.
Well, what do you want?
Mrs. Trumpet, I'm George Lincoln.
What do you want?
Well, I'm handling Mr. Duncan's affairs for him now.
What do you want?
Well, it seems Mr. Duncan won't require your services anymore. He'll give you 2 weeks' notice, of course, but you won't have to work them out. In fact, you can leave right now. I'll help you pack.
Oh, no, you don't.
Well, you must have some place to go. You have a family, haven't you?
I have a husband and a daughter.
Fine. Where do they live?
In a house.
Excellent.
We just sold it. Made $5,000 on the deal.
Well, where are they going to live?
This is a comfortable room. They'll move in here with me.
But Mrs. Trumpet...
And I just dare you to put us out.
Nice room you have here, Mr. Lincoln.
Never mind my room. What have you got to report? And keep quiet or you'll wake the baby.
Sonny and I tramped all over town.
Yeah, my feet are killing me.
Not so loud, the baby.
Oh, I forgot about it.
All right, now, come on. What goes?
You first, Sonny.
Well, I went to every boarding house in town. Finally, at one place, the landlady agreed to give up her room.
Great. When can Uncle Milt's family move in there?
Anytime. But they'll have to share the room with the landlady's cousin and his wife.
Yeah, oh, well, that's a big help. Well, Claire, what about you?
I tackle the hotels, all of them. I can get them one room with the Hotel Manning.
That's great.
In 2 months and for 2 days.
Oh, great guns.
Hey, but here's an idea, Mr. Lincoln.
Huh?
If the nephew should meet with an accident or happen to get sick...
What are you talking about? He's perfectly healthy.
Well, I thought you were desperate.
Oh, all right, I'm desperate. Suppose he has an accident.
Then I can get him in at the American hospital. They'll give him a cot in the corridor.
Oh, Sonny.
And about his family, they have a very comfortable waiting room at the hospital with a nice couch.
And that's your report.
Well, I told you we couldn't work a miracle.
But there must be some place in town. Other people have apartments. Oh, Claire.
Well?
You like your job, don't you? You like it very much.
It's all right.
I knew you were crazy about it. Now then, you'd do anything to keep your job, wouldn't you?
Explain.
Well, I mean, if it meant giving up your apartment to hold your job,
I'd quit.
That's what I thought. Well, a fine office force I have. I give you a simple little problem. Find a place for my client's family, and what happens? You talk about a cot in a hospital and a room in a hotel for 2 days. What do you think I hired you for? What do you think I'm paying you for? Oh, now you did it. Now you woke the baby. I told you to be quiet. Oh, all right, fellow. All right. No need to cry, little fella.
That fella's name is Annabelle.
It's all right, fella, Annabelle. It's I, Georgie. You remember me? Your roommate. Oh, Claire, take over, will you?
Oh, no, darling.
Who woke up that confounded baby?
Oh, hello, Uncle Milt.
Oh, be a good little girl.
Look, George, I'm an old man. All I want is to spend the rest of my days in peace and quiet.
She'll fall asleep in a minute.
Uncle Milt, did I hear the baby?
She's all right, Helen.
Who are all these people?
Why, they're...
Never mind, it doesn't matter. Uncle Milt, Roy just broke the news. He quit his job.
What?
And I don't blame him. It wasn't good enough for a family man with responsibility.
But Helen...
After all, when a man has a wife and 2 children...
2 children?
Oh, didn't I tell you? Annabelle's going to have a brother. Or a sister. Or maybe both. Twins run in the family, you know.
Helen, for heaven's
Now,
sake...
don't wake Annabella again. I've got to go back. I'm moving the bed to where you had the chest of drawers, and I'll move the chest of drawers next to the window. If I could only move the window.
George, did you hear her? You've got to do something. I'm an old man. All I want...
I know, Uncle Milt, I know, but everything's going to be fine now.
But Roy quit his job.
I'm going to get him another.
Just find them a place to live. That's all I ask.
You see, Uncle Milt? I'll find Roy a job out of town.
Out of town?
Certainly. He'll move out there, and then he'll send for his family.
Are you sure?
Why, of course. He won't want his wife to be alone at a time like this. Now, don't you worry, Uncle Milt. Everything's going to be all straightened out. Just let George do it.
George thinks his latest brainstorm is going to solve Uncle Milt's problem. Little does he know what's in store for him. Now, Claire is just ending a telephone conversation with the airport.
No, make that a one-way ticket to Seattle. That's right. Thank you. It's taken care of, Miss Lincoln.
Good.
Oh, Mr. Lincoln.
Oh, Caleb, I'm busy. I haven't time to hear about a new receipt.
Oh, no, Mr. Lincoln. This time I've come for some professional advice.
Yeah, well, some other day, Caleb. I'm up to my neck.
Whatever you say, Mr. Lincoln, but it's mighty important.
Good morning. Let George do it.
Helen, why doesn't he do it?
Oh, just a minute, Uncle Milt.
Oh. Hello, Uncle Milt.
Listen, George, now that Roy's home all day, he grabs my newspaper before I get up, and by the time
never mind that.
But the front page and the funnies and the ads are all mixed up. It takes me a half an hour to put it together again. Now, look, George, I'm an old man. All I want is to spend the rest of my days...
In peace and quiet. You will, Uncle Milt. Tell Roy to pack his things. I got him a job in Seattle. Sonny will have his ticket, and he'll meet him at the airport in an hour.
Well, that gets rid of one of them, but what about...
Roy's to spend the whole day looking for a place to live. Then Helen and the baby can leave tonight.
George, if you pull it off this time,
It's as good as done, Uncle Milt. See you this evening. Has Helen heard from Roy?
She's talking to him long distance now.
Oh, fine. I've got a ticket. I'll drive her to the airport myself.
Take her right away, will you, George? Talk all the time and moves the furniture just like her mother, my sister Sadie. Helen doesn't talk quite as much as her mother, but almost.
I'll have her out of your house in a half hour.
Good boy, George.
Oh, about my check, Uncle Milt.
Check?
My fee.
Oh, your fee. Yes, of course.
Yes, if you'll just make out a check to, Oh, wait a minute. It just so happens I have a check right here with me. And it happens to be all made out, too. Just sign it, Uncle Milt.
Uncle Milt, I just talked to Roy long distance. Oh, who's this?
Helen, this is...
Never mind, it doesn't matter. Roy says there's no place to live in Seattle.
What?
He's sharing one bed with 4 fellows from the office. They take shifts.
Well, what about you? You can't stay here alone, not at a time like this. I mean, when a woman's going to have a... Well, after all...
Oh, don't worry. I won't be alone. It's all right, Uncle Milt. You don't have to upset yourself. I phoned Mother.
You mean?
Isn't it wonderful, Uncle Milt? Mother's coming here to live with us.
Oh. Mr. Lincoln, you really should go out and have some breakfast.
Oh, I haven't time. Come on now, Claire. Who else do I know? I'm going to phone every friend I've got. Somebody must know about a place for Uncle Milt's family.
Oh, that's the phone in my office. I'll take care of it.
Mr. Lincoln?
Any luck, Sonny?
I went to every real estate agent.
Yeah?
Would they be interested in renting a swimming pool?
Oh, Sonny.
I even went out to the cemeteries. No room there either.
All right, get out of here. Keep looking.
Yes, sir.
Oh, say, Mr. Lincoln.
Oh, what do you want, Caleb?
Have you got time to talk to me now?
No, I'm still busy.
But I need your help, Mr. Lincoln.
Just as soon as I have a minute.
Now, don't you forget.
Mr. Lincoln, it's Uncle Milt on the telephone. He wants to talk to you.
Oh, all right, I'll take it here. Hello, Uncle Milt.
George, I'm an old man. All I want...
Yes, Uncle Milt, I know.
Sadie came this morning.
Helen's mother?
They're moving the furniture now, and talk, George, that woman never stops to take a breath. She just lets in air between words.
Well, now, don't give up, Uncle Milt. I'll find something yet.
Oh, it wouldn't be so bad if it was my other sister. Myrtle's tight with her money, but she doesn't say much.
Well, don't you... Who's Myrtle?
I told you, mother sister.
Does she live in town?
Yeah, has a great big house, lives here all alone.
Uncle Milt, that's terrific. Let them all move in with her.
Oh, you don't know Myrtle. She's very careful with her money.
What's her address?
1300 Sycamore.
Okay, Uncle Milt, leave it to me. I'll handle Myrtle.
He's sick, you say?
Oh, yes. Very sick, Miss Duncan. Isn't that right, Claire?
Oh, yes, Miss Duncan. If something isn't done soon, your brother will have a nervous breakdown.
Milton always was delicate.
Yes. And it's because his house is small and there are so many people living with him. And, well, he's an old man. All he wants is to spend the rest of his days.
You can forget about my brother, Mr. Lincoln. I'll take care of everything.
Oh, then you mean
Goodbye, Mr. Lincoln.
But will you...
Mr. Lincoln, I assure you it's taken care of.
Myrtle's going to let him move in with her?
That's what I said.
I don't see how you did it, George. It's not like Myrtle.
Oh, well, when it comes to women, I have a way. Why, charm, you know.
Well, I have to hand it to you, George.
Now about my check, Uncle Milt.
Check?
My fee.
Oh, your fee, of course.
It just so happens that I have a check right with me, and it happens to be made out, too. If you'll just sign it, Uncle Milt.
Yeah, my pen's in the desk. Wait a minute. Dear me, where's the desk? They moved it this morning.
Oh, it's under that window.
Why? Well, look.
Huh?
What's that pulling up in front of the house?
A moving van.
Moving van?
Well, see, what'd I tell you? Didn't I say I'd handle Myrtle? She sent a moving van for Helen's thing.
Oh, wonderful. Well, then what's Myrtle doing out there?
Oh, well, she must have come for the folks.
Oh, come on, we let her in. That's very thoughtful of her, bringing a van and moving them right out.
Well, that's how George Lincoln operates.
Young man, be careful of that dresser. It's an antique. Hello, Milton. You look peaked.
Myrtle, what's all this here?
My furniture. I sold my house, Milton.
You
made $8,000.
But Myrtle...
This young man gave me the idea.
I did?
I've been wanting to make a profit, but I didn't know where I'd live. Then when he told me how sick you are, Milton, I felt it my duty to come here and nurse you.
But, Myrtle, where will you sleep?
I'll take your room. You can use the sleeping porch. The fresh air will do you good.
Sleeping porch? With Annabelle? George?
It's all right, Uncle Milt. I'll move my things out right now.
Good morning. Let George do it.
Let me speak to Mr. Dewitt.
Oh, Uncle Milt.
Oh. Hello.
George, do you know where I slept last night?
On the sleeping porch with Annabelle.
No. My sister Sadie took the porch. There isn't room with Helen because she has the guest room all fixed up with furniture for the new baby.
Where did you sleep?
On a cot in the garage.
Oh, good heavens.
George, I'm an old man.
I know. I'm working on it, Uncle Milt.
For heaven's sake, George, hurry up. I'm an old man.
Oh, Claire, I'm about ready to call it quits.
Well, maybe Sonny will find something today.
I slept here again last night. Pulled a chair over to the couch for my feet. Claire, you're looking at a very discouraged man.
Oh, now, Mr. Lincoln, don't say that. Does your head hurt?
Yeah, terribly.
Here, let me rub it for you. Feel better?
Oh, don't stop.
I won't.
You know, Claire, you're a very sympathetic person.
Well, right now you're a figure to arouse sympathy.
And at the same time, you're very beautiful.
Why, thank you.
Claire.
Yes?
How about your apartment?
So that's it. You can rub your own head.
Claire.
You're not going to soft-soap me out of my apartment.
Well, you can't blame me for trying, can you?
Mr. Lincoln.
Oh, Caleb, I told you I have troubles enough of my own.
But, Mr. Lincoln, I just hate to go to somebody else for advice.
Oh, all right. What do you want?
Well, I hate to put you out in it. You see, I spend so much time in the room downstairs anyway that I was wondering, do you think you can help me rent my house in the country?
House? Rent?
I just moved my things right into the room downstairs. The stove's so much better there.
Caleb, I love you.
Mr. Lincoln.
I love you dearly. Give me the keys to the house. Claire, get Uncle Mill on the telephone. Tell him we'll pick him up in 5 minutes. Tell him we found a house for his whole darn family.
Do you think there might be room for Myrtle in it, too?
Of course. Plenty of room.
We didn't have time to talk to Caleb, Uncle Milt. We just grabbed the keys and ran.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if we could put up Mrs. Trumpet with him. You know, my housekeeper.
Well, why do you want to do that?
Well, now that Roy's gone, Mrs. Trumpet's husband always grabs him a paper in the morning. I don't mind cooking for myself. I just want to live alone the rest of my days.
We'll move them all out here, Uncle Milt. Every last one of them, bag and baggage. After all, the country, open spaces, plenty of room.
2234. Must be right on this corner.
Huh? Yep, there it is.
Is this it?
Is this all there is to it?
Oh, no. It's a narrow lot, that's all. Must go way back.
Well, it doesn't look very big.
In fact, it looks very small.
Now, don't you know you can never tell by the front of a house? Probably very compact. Come on.
How many rooms do you suppose it has?
Oh, we'll see in a minute.
Remember, there's Helen and Annabelle and Myrtle and Sadie and Mrs. Trumpet and her husband and her daughter, not to mention the new baby when it comes, and that may turn out to be twins.
Uh-huh. I'll walk right in, Uncle Milt. After you, Claire.
Oh.
Well, suppose the living room is small. What of it?
But, Mr. Lincoln, where are the other rooms?
Well, you see doors, don't you? We'll start opening them. Oh, this must lead to one of the beds. Oh,
Look out!
Inner door bed.
Oh, I guess this is the bedroom.
When that's pulled down, there isn't even room for a cot in here.
Well, now don't get discouraged. Here's another door.
It's a Pullman kitchen.
Well, what do you know?
Of course. I remember now. Caleb was complaining about his two-burner stove. See, the bottom is an icebox.
Yes. Well, I told you it was a compact place.
And you were so right.
If they take the Pullman kitchen out, they might have room for the baby's bed in here.
That's right. Keep plugging.
Say, Mr. Lincoln, is there
I don't see it.
Outside.
Hmm?
In back of the house. Small, but compact.
Oh, yeah. Uncle Milt, I guess I owe you an apology.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm sorry, sir. This is the first time I've ever failed a client. I've let you down, Uncle Milt. I just can't solve your problem, that's all.
What's all that foolishness about? Nothing of the sort.
But, Uncle Milt, there isn't room for all of them here.
Who's talking about them? Let them stay where they are. I'll move in here.
Uncle Milt.
Why, it's ideal. Only room for one person. Nobody else can possibly get in. Peace and quiet for the rest of my days.
Well, sure, of course. What'd I tell you, Uncle Milt? Nothing's impossible for George Lincoln. If it takes a miracle, why, then I produce a miracle.
Don't let your head swell up too much, Mr. Lincoln. Remember, this is a small room.
Now, about my check, Uncle Milt.
Check?
Uh-huh, my fee.
Oh, yeah, of course, your fee. Give me that check now. I'll sign it.
One other thing, Uncle Milt.
Huh?
Do you think you could see your way clear to giving me a little bonus?
What do you want, George?
Oh, nothing much. Just a 2-year lease on that cot in your garage.
Thank you for listening to and showing your support for my podcast. If you would like to receive notifications of when new episodes are posted, please subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions are 100% free, and they really help me get an idea of how I'm doing. You can also go to my website where you can listen to all of my podcasts for free, and you can also download episodes for free. The website is otr.duane.media. There is also donation information on there if you want to show your support or become a patron. You can email me at info@otr.duane.media. I'm also on Instagram at duane.otr. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, wish you well, and as always, peace.